Hello everyone, in this video we're going to draw a black bear. Start by drawing a circle as a guide for the front part of the body. To draw the circle, first make two small marks to indicate the circle's length, and then on the sides make two more small marks to indicate the circle's width. Then connect the marks using curved lines to finish the shape of the circle. Sketch lightly at first so that it's easy to erase if you make a mistake. Also, pause the video to draw at your own pace. The circle doesn't have to be perfect, but if you're having trouble drawing it, just trace the outer edge of a lid, a bottle cap, or anything else with a circular edge. To the left, draw another circle as a guide for the back portion of the body. Use the 4 marks method to draw this circle too. First, make 4 small marks to indicate the sides of the circle, and then connect the marks using curved lines to finish the shape of the circle. Draw the 2 circles about the same size. Don't place the circles too far apart or the body will be too long. On the right side, draw another circle as a guide for the head. Use the 4 marks method to draw this circle as well. Pay attention to the size of the head in relation to the body. This circle should be about half the size of the first circle. The edges of the circles on the right should touch. Inside the head circle, draw a curved horizontal line. This is a construction guide that will help you place the facial features later on. On the top right side, draw a short curved vertical line for another construction guide. On the bottom half of the head, draw a small circle as a guide for the muzzle. Pay attention to the size of this circle in relation to the head. The bottom part of this circle should be outside of the head. On top of the head, draw 2 small arcs as guides for the ears. Black bears have bigger ears than grizzly bears, so don't make these arcs too small. Under the first circle, draw a long angled line as a guide for the front leg. Bend this line at the top to indicate a joint, and then again at the bottom for the foot. To the right, draw another long angled line as a guide for the other front leg. The bottom of the line should slope to the right because the bear is stepping forward. Draw another long angled line under the circle on the left as a guide for the hind leg. Pay attention to how this line bends to indicate the joint and foot. To the right, draw a shorter angled line as a guide for the other hind leg. Bend the line at the bottom to indicate the foot. Connect the head to the body using sloping lines to create the guide for the neck. The top line should be longer than the bottom line. Connect the circles in the middle using longer lines to finish the guide for the torso. Curve the lines for the torso. And that's it for the guidelines. Now let's start on the final drawing. Inside the head, lightly sketch 2 small circles for the eyes. Use the initial lines as guides to help you position the eyes inside the head. The eyes should be small in relation to the head. When you get the sizes and positions of the eyes right, darken the shapes. Make the sides of the shapes pointy for the corners of the eyes. Darken the initial circle for the eyeball. The eye on the right should be smaller because the head is turned. The inner corners should point down toward the muzzle. Inside the eyes, draw tiny circles for highlights. In the middle of the eyes, draw small circles and shade them in for pupils. Add a few short strokes and curved lines around the eyes for fur and skin. Keep these lines close to the shapes of the eyes. Inside the muzzle on the bottom right side, lightly sketch a small circle for the nose. The nose should overlap the edge of the head circle. When you get the size and position of the nose right, darken the shape. Inside the shape, draw 2 curved lines for the nostrils. Make the nostril on the right smaller. Draw a short vertical line near the middle of the nose. Darken the bottom part of the nose using curved lines. Darken the top part of the nose using a short curved line. Under the nose, draw a line that curves to the left for the mouth. Sketch lightly at first and only darken the line when you get the shape right. The left side of the mouth should be close to the edge of the muzzle. Use short strokes for a furry texture. Draw a short curved line under the mouth for the chin. Draw a few short lines above the nose for the top part of the muzzle. Add a few short strokes on the left side for the side of the muzzle. Keep these lines close to the edge of the circle. Add a few more short strokes in the middle of the head for fur. Darken the arc on the top left side of the head to create the ear. Add a few short strokes inside the shape and at the bottom for fur. Darken the arc on the right to create the other ear. Use the initial circle as a guide to draw the rest of the head. Darken the edge of the circle using short strokes to create the shape of the furry head. Make the right side of the head slightly wider than the initial circle. Don't darken the entire edge of the circle, you can leave a few gaps. Add more short strokes inside the head to emphasize the fur. Use the second line from the right that's under the body as a guide to draw the front leg. First, lightly sketch the shape of the leg around the guideline. Make the top part of the leg wide and then gradually make the shape thinner toward the bottom. Curve the bottom part of the shape to the right to create the foot. When you get the shape of the leg right, darken the lines. Use a series of short strokes as you darken the lines for a furry texture. The top part of the leg should be inside the body. On the tip of the foot, draw a couple of short curved lines for the toes. Add a small angled line on the tip of each toe for the claws. Use the line on the right as a guide to draw the other front leg the same way. Lightly sketch the shape of the leg around the guideline. Make the top part wide and the bottom narrow. Curve the bottom part of the shape for the foot. When you get the shape right, darken the lines. Use a series of short strokes as you darken the left edge of the shape for a furry texture. At the bottom of the shape, draw a few short V-shaped lines for the claws. Under the claws, draw curved lines for the toes. Use the long angled line on the far left side as a guide to draw the hind leg. Just like with the front legs, first lightly sketch the shape of the leg around the guideline. Make the top part of the shape wide and then gradually make the bottom thinner. Curve the lines to indicate the joints and foot. When you get the shape right, darken the lines using short strokes for a furry texture. At the bottom of the shape, draw a couple of small V-shaped lines for the claws. At the toes to the left using short curved lines. Use the line on the right as a guide to draw the other hind leg. Lightly sketch the leg around the guideline and only darken the lines when you get the shape right. Curve the bottom part of the shape to the right for the foot. Use a series of short strokes to create a furry texture. On the tip of the foot, draw a couple of angled lines for the claws. At the toes using short curved lines. Now use the remaining shapes and lines as guides to draw the rest of the body. Simply darken the outer edges of the guides to create the shape of the body. The top part of the body should be made up of one long continuous line. Use a series of short strokes as you darken the underside of the body for a furry texture. Now erase the initial guidelines. The next few steps are sped up so that the video isn't too long. Don't worry about erasing all of the guidelines. It's okay if you leave some behind. Redraw any of the final lines that you may have accidentally erased. Now shade your drawing. Use a dark value to shade the entire body except for the muzzle. Shade lightly at first and gradually build up to darker values. As you shade, use strokes that go in the direction of the fur. Inside the head, the fur radiates outward from the muzzle. The body should have horizontal strokes that curve into vertical strokes on the left side. Use an even darker value across the body to create shadows. Shadows will give the figure more dimension and volume. Separate the strokes slightly as you shade so that the white of the paper comes through and creates a more furry texture. Use a lighter value to shade the muzzle. Draw a shadow at the bottom using a medium value. Shading can be time-consuming, so be patient and take breaks. Keep shading until you're happy with the result. And that's it for the black bear. Don't forget to pause the video to draw at your own pace. Also, please visit howtodrawanimals.com where every step of this tutorial is broken down into an individual image. That's how, and then the number 2, then drawanimals.com. If you'd like to support my channel, please consider buying my books on Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description below. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe for more videos in the future. Thank you for watching, and until next time, keep drawing.